like his eyes aren't inset. They kind of like bulge out a little. Wait, that looks like a mess. Because right now I'm going for like an inset look, which is probably not right. Probably not the right approach. And the clay's dry, and I'll just have to get water to slow it down. I don't feel this is precise at all for what I'm going for here. It's very clumsy at this point with the eyes. And these folds are way too parallel. One thing as an artist, you want to have folds that don't merge parallel with each other. You get a better effect that way. It looks more natural. If everything's linear, it's going to look a little artificial. The artists that do the real Jabba stuff, like for Hasbro toys and everything, they're really talented. If you work with clay a lot, I think that helps. I hardly ever work with clay. So that's my only challenge right now. Alright, so let's say that that's his face. Does that look like Jabba? I need eyes. So what I'm going to do is take from the tail. There we go. I always like when his tail's like doing something different, but I don't want to have the tail too fancy and then it snaps off later on. Just a basic tail is fine. Alright, so I have clay for his eyes now. Now I gotta get his nose and his mouth. I think the nose has to have one nostril higher up. Here's the problem though. His face extrudes out and this is flat looking. I got a problem here. This whole piece has to stick out more. Right now it's flat. How do I solve that? I think I need to be careful here. If I put too much detail into the eyes and then lose this, that's going to be it. Alright, so let me just do something for the nose really quick. Actually, I can't. I have to extend that out. And I do want to have folds on his back. I don't want to just not have anything there. Alright, so his face is going to be a little flat. That's I'm just going to have to go with it. I could push his face down. That'll allow me a little more room to project out. This arm feels way too short. probably too small. There really is a degree of planning that you need to do with a figure like this. Alright, so let me just work on the nose. Actually, let me finish the eyes. Alright, so they go like this, and they're oval. And I'll push it in there. That looks pretty good. That don't look bad. I gotta make sure I get the right size here. It's oval. And then for the detail of the eye, I'll just do that later. I mean, that's not too bad. I kind of like that eyelid effect here. It's not too bad. I don't want to cut carvings into it, but there's not much else I can do at this point. Without any extra clay, I'm kind of like trapped myself a little bit. There's not much more I could take from. Everything else is important if you thin it out too much. So I'm just going to go with a flat face. The side of the figure is not critical. This is only going to be for my own Jabba the Hutt creation. And I hardly ever look at him from the side. But I did flatten his face out too much though. That's the problem. I could try to bring some of this up there, but I just gotta get like a chunk from somewhere. He needs that face to stick out more. That's all there is to it. That didn't affect too much. There's so much clay here, that's what's nice about it. Yeah, that's barely noticeable. And just hit it with that again for some kind of texture anyway. That hand could snap right off if I don't mold it right. That's the concern. Alright, so I got this clay here. I don't have a whole lot of time left on this video, but I feel like this needs to be here so it gives them more of a face. And then just smooth that out into the piece. Otherwise, and then I think that could actually extend out like that. Well, that's his mouth. He's got like a chin, so I gotta be careful not to forget the chin. I just want to smooth this part out here. Yeah, that looks better. Good. Alright, and then I guess I could do some stuff like that. It's a rough looking texture, to be honest. But hey, at least it's something. Alright, So his eyes, how do they look? Alright, let's just work on the nose. So he's got one little sliver down here. Nose, I think it'll be pretty easy. It's just the placement of it that's critical. And then he's got one kind of going up a little bit. And it's almost like a teardrop for the nose. So it's got the thickness at the top, and then it thins out at the bottom. That looks way off. This other nostril's way off. That's what's nice about clay. You're not stuck with it. That one looks okay, I think. Can I tell if it's alright? I mean, in reality, the other one is further down. I don't want to make it too far down, though. But that's part of his personality. I mean, that's part of his recognition. I mean, I guess that's okay. That kind of looks like Jabba, I think. It's not terrible, I don't think yet. I'll know for sure when I paint it. And this hand now still got the clayness to it, so that's good. It's not dried out or anything. With the limbs and stuff, you want to make sure you smooth those out. You don't want any like rough cuts in them, because that could be the snap off point. I do want to kind of tip them a little bit so they have like points to them, because they're not super rounded on the real Jabba. But one thing that's unique about Jabba, he's kind of like asymmetrical, not symmetrical. So he's like, even his nostrils are not quite symmetrical. Alright, well, the eyes are critical, and I'm kind of like skipping over them a little too much. Alright, let me just get the mouth in there and see how it looks. So I think the mouth starts pretty low. And then how close does it get to the... Let me just do a rough outline. That's not too bad. I kind of want to have it open. That'd be fun to see it open. And see if he's got any frogs in there. When you open the mouth though, you got to be aware not to forget about the tongue and all that stuff. That's not too bad. I think these eyes need to be a little more pointed in this center here. really need slabs of clay to go over those eyelids. It looks a little bit like Jabba. I mean, if you look real quick, you could say, oh yeah, that's Jabba. I think just the shape itself would give you recognition of Jabba the Hutt. Alright, so he's got that chin. Kind of like a chin here. That's kind of cool. I think I'm starting to get it. I hope I'm not way off the mark when it's all finished, but I mean, how am I going to do the tongue now? I think that'd be cool to have his tongue stick out. I'm going to go from his tail again and just create a quick tongue. Sorry about your tail, Jabba, but you give me a lot to work with thanks to that tail. His tail's a little short, I think, at this point. I think that's fine, though. I don't want to have it too... kind of want to curve it in a little. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. Alright, so his tongue is pretty flat. His tongue is pretty funny to see on the Return of the Jedi. So I have to open his mouth. I want to kind of smooth out the edges a little bit so they don't flake off when I finish this up. That's what's nice about Jabba. He's so gritty looking that all these rough edges you don't have to worry about too much. Alright, so his tongue is not going to be too smooth. I don't know. Should I put the tongue on there? Need like a bigger thing to really push in there.